Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NBA slate on Tuesday, April the 4th. We do have a big Tuesday slate tonight, guys. 13-game slate. It's Taco Tuesday, so yeah, we'll see what kind of tacos we get throughout the day that Prizepicks gives us. But big slate tonight. Going to be a lot of props to choose from. Already got two picks that I'm liking for today that we're going to share in this video, guys. Got a PRA prop I'm liking for today and a points prop I'm liking. So as always, we're going to talk through these two plays. We're going to share why I like them. But before we do get started breaking down the plays, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if you find them helpful, please hit that like button down below. I always appreciate the likes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel and if you've never checked out Prizepicks before, you can actually sign up for Prizepicks and use my promo code Noah. If you look at the bottom of the screen, when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. So check them out if you have not yet. Use that code when you sign up. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. But do want to recap our two plays that we gave out in our last video, which was on Sunday. There were no NBA games on Monday, so that's why I didn't make any videos on Monday. But I did make a video for Sunday's NBA slate, and we gave out two picks in that video. We took two first-half props in that video. We took Drew Eubanks over PRA, 9.5 in the first half. Eubanks cashes his PRA in the first half. Had a pretty good game overall. I know his line did get bumped a good amount. I think it actually got bumped up to 11.5, but I think he still cashed the over 11.5 as well, if I remember correctly. So Eubanks cashes over PRA in the first half. Unfortunately, though, we took Domantas Sabonis over points in the first half, and he only scored 4 points in the first half against the Spurs. I mean, go figure. And then, of course, in the second half, Sabonis goes absolutely nuts, scores like 22 points in the second half. And both the games, I took first half props for those games on Sunday because I was worried about a potential blowout. The Blazers were like 17-point dogs against the Timberwolves. The Kings were like 17-point favorites against the Spurs. And go figure, the Blazers win as 17-point dogs and the Kings lose as 17-point favorites. I mean, just, go figure. The two games I target, first half props in because I'm worried about a blowout. Both the teams that are heavily favored lose the game. And of course, Sabonis goes absolutely nuts in the second half. The game goes to overtime. He scores like 26 points total for the game, but in the first half, he scored just 4 points. It's just like, what are the odds? What are the odds that happens? So that was super annoying. I felt like, we had some good reads there on those first half plays Sunday, but unfortunately did not cash that 2-pick entry. Hopefully today, though, guys, we can, cash this 2-pick entry. It is the, final week of the regular season. Last week or the last day of the regular season is on Sunday, so hopefully we can close out the regular season strong heading into the playoffs next week. But let's talk through the two plays I do like for this big Tuesday slate. And we'll start off in the points prop category. So one points prop that I do like for today is going to be Spencer Dinwiddie's points prop. And it sits at 17.5 on Prizepicks. And I do like the over here for Spencer Dinwiddie. Now, if you look at his last 5 games, you're not going to feel great about this prop because Spencer Dinwiddie has only gone over this line once out of his last 5 games, and that was against Houston. Last game against Utah, though, he lost by the hook, finished with 17. The game against Miami, tougher matchup, finished with 15 points. He played like complete shit against Orlando, had just 2 points. That was obviously a big outlier game. Against Atlanta, it was surprising to see him only score 9 points against Atlanta. That's a pretty good matchup, pretty good game environment. But Dinwiddie's role has been really good, and there's nothing that, when you look at, even though his recent games have not been that great, there's really nothing negative to say about Dinwiddie. He's still playing big minutes. The Nets, they still have something to play for right now. They're currently the 6th seed in the East, but they're only 2 games up of Miami. So like if the Nets lose like their final 3 games this season and Miami wins like 2 of their 3 games or maybe all their games, Miami could potentially jump the Nets and get the 6th seed, and the Nets would be forced to play in the play-in tournament. So I think the Nets really want to win games right now. They're going to play their guys big minutes. These last few games, even though Dinwiddie has not scored a ton, he still played good minutes, 34.5 minutes against Utah, 33.5 minutes against Atlanta, 38.5 minutes against Houston. He should play like 35, 36 minutes here if this game is competitive, and this should be a competitive game. Right now, the spread is only 1.5, so it's expected to be close. Minnesota, on the other side, they're fighting for playoff position right now, so we can expect them to treat this game very seriously. So that's something that you definitely want to think about, as we close out the season. It's the final week of the regular season. You definitely want to be thinking about what teams have something to play for and what teams don't, because I think, You could see some weird stuff happen for the teams that like don't have anything to play for. They might just run weird rotations. They might just spread out minutes. But the teams that have something to play for, we can expect them to pretty much play their guys' normal minutes, keep the rotation tight. And I think we're getting big minutes from Spencer Dinwiddie here. I like the matchup as well against Minnesota. So Dinwiddie, since he's joined the Nets, he had his best scoring game of the season against Minnesota when they played earlier this year. He had 29 points in that game, which again was the most points he scored in a game since he's been with Brooklyn. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that, Jaden McDaniels is one of the better defenders in the league. He's obviously the Timberwolves' best defender, and he was guarding Mikal Bridges last time these teams played. And I think Jaden McDaniels is going to guard Mikal Bridges once again here. So if McDaniels is guarding Bridges, I think that makes it a lot, it's a better matchup for Dinwiddie. And we saw Dinwiddie really take advantage of that last time these teams played, scoring 29 points. You look at the DVP stats this season for what it's worth. The Timberwolves, they are giving up the fourth most points per game to point guards this season. So really like the spot for Dinwiddie. I think it's a pretty good game environment with both these teams having something to play for. This is a game that should be competitive. It's a game where you should see both teams really lean on their starters. And I like Dinwiddie's chances of scoring 18 points here. He did really well against Minnesota earlier this season. I like the matchup for him. I think it's going to be a little bit of a tougher spot for Mikal Bridges. And if it's a tougher spot for Mikal Bridges, that might mean we see more offensive opportunity for Spencer Dinwiddie. So give me over 17.5 points for Spencer Dinwiddie as our first play for today. And then the other play that I like is going to be a PRA prop. I want to talk about Nikola Vucevic. So his PRA line on Prizepicks, it sits at 30.5. Have a feeling this line could get bumped because if you look on DraftKings Sportsbook, currently the over 30.5 PRA for Vooch is minus 140. Anytime you see a prop that's minus 140 on a sportsbook and it's available on Prizepicks, usually Prizepicks is going to bump that line. So this might get bumped to 31 at some point today. If it does get bumped to 31, I think it's still good to play. Like I don't think it's bad to play, but I do like getting it at 30.5 just because I think that's where the most value is. But you look at Vooch's recent games, his last few games, had a really big game against the Lakers, 47 PRA, had a good game against the Clippers, even though he didn't play in the fourth quarter. This game against the Lakers, he got ejected in the first half. And then their last two games against Charlotte and against Memphis have both been blowouts. The game against Charlotte, Vooch, I don't think he played much at all in the fourth quarter. He didn't play full minutes in that game. I think he played like 30 minutes total. Yeah, 30 minutes against Charlotte. Obviously, if that game was competitive, he probably would have gone over this PRA line. And then last game against Memphis, Vooch did play 32 minutes, but he did get subbed out a few minutes early because it was a blowout. And I don't think, because they were winning by so much in the fourth quarter, it didn't seem like they were really, rushing to get Vooch back into the game. He only subbed in with like 6 minutes left, and he barely played in the fourth. But I think this is a spot where we can expect them to really lean, the Bulls to really lean on their starters. And I think this is a game that should be competitive. The Bulls have been involved in a lot of blowouts lately, which has costed Vooch. The game against Memphis was a blowout. The game against Charlotte was a blowout. The game against the Lakers, he got ejected. There was a couple games earlier before that one, like before they faced the Lakers, they faced Portland. He went over this PRA line against Portland, but that game was also a blowout. Game against Philly before that was a blowout. When they played Philly before that, that game went to double overtime. Vooch played 36 minutes in regulation, 46 minutes total. But he's going to play big minutes here, and the Bulls and the Hawks both have something to play for. And this is a very important game for playoff seeding because if you look at the standings in the East right now, currently the Hawks are the 8 seed and the Bulls are the 10 seed. Now, the Bulls are 4 games ahead of the Wizards for the 10 seed, so I think it's very likely that the Bulls are going to be in the play-in tournament. I think they pretty much locked in their spot in the play-in tournament, but you want to try and get to the 7 or 8 seed because if you're the 7 or the 8 seed in the play-in, you only have to win 1 game versus 2. If you're the 9 or the 10 seed, you have to win 2 games, and if you don't win those games, you're eliminated. So I think the Bulls really want to try and get to the 8 or the 7 seed. And again, they're only 1 game back of the Hawks. So if the Bulls beat the Hawks here, they would jump them in the standings, I'm pretty sure. So this is a very important game for playoff seeding, for potential play-in position. And I think both these teams are going to treat this game very seriously. I expect Vooch to play big minutes here if the game's competitive. I think the matchup against Atlanta is pretty good. Atlanta's defense has been really, really bad lately. I think on the season they have like the 5th or 6th worst defensive rating in the league. Atlanta's been giving up a ton of points as well. Like if you look at some of these Hawks games, they're super high scoring. Like all their games lately have been really high scoring. This is another game that's expected to be high scoring. It has a 234.5 total, which is towards the top of the slate. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a competitive game. Vooch should play big minutes here. I like the matchup against a struggling Atlanta defense. Atlanta's also been pretty giving to the center position this season in terms of like points allowed, rebounds allowed. They've been giving up, a good amount of rebounds to centers, good amount of points. I think it's a good spot for Vooch. So I definitely like his over 30.5 PRA. I like that, you're seeing some juice coming in on that over as well. And for what it's worth, last time they faced Atlanta, Vooch did have a really good game, 14 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists, so 38 PRA in their last matchup against Atlanta. But that's what I'm liking for today, guys. Spencer Dinwiddie, more than 17.5 points, and Nikola Vucevic, more than 30.5 PRA. These are two early picks I like for today, guys. I'm recording this video around 11 a.m. Eastern time, so obviously, I don't have like a full list of plays out yet because I just haven't been able to look at the board for that long. But once we start to get more props added, like the fantasy score props, you guys know I like to look at the fantasy scores. We're getting more of those posted on the board right now. Going to have to take a look through those, see if there's any that I like. And again, I will share those on Patreon. I'll give some more Prizepicks plays for today over on Patreon, so check those out if you are interested. But I do wish you guys the best of luck tonight. Appreciate you watching the video. Make sure you hit that like button down below if you guys did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And go check out Prizepicks as well. If you guys are not signed up for Prizepicks yet, use that promo code NOAH when you sign up. Get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up with my promo code. But again, guys, good luck tonight. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.